Hi and welcome to Sound Talks. My name is Stenz. I'm a sound designer and a member of the team here at Sonic Minds. Today we'll start by answering some of the questions that we get asked most frequently and cover some of the basics of the strategic use of sound. And today it's with our Sonic leader, Karsten Kjems. Karsten, do you want to maybe introduce yourself a bit, maybe for some of our viewers that don't know who you are?
Yeah, I can do it shortly. My name is Karsten, and I'm the founder of Sonic Minds, and have been doing audio branding since 2004 now, so more than 20 years.
Yeah, and your music background is?
I'm a drummer, actually, and my father was also a drummer, and music has been my whole life. We're actually sitting in my childhood home here.
Oh, really?
And in these living rooms here, lots of jazz musicians and singers and musicians have been played and having fun. So this house is, for me, the soul of music.
Yeah. Okay, that makes it even better to sit here and do it. So today we'll do a sort of Q&A or frequently asked questions. So I've tried to find a lot of questions that we hear all the time and try to condense them down into 5 questions. The first one is, what is sonic branding and why is it important?
Well, that's 2 questions.
Actually, it is 2 questions in one.
Let me answer the first one. Sonic branding, audio branding, same thing, is to use sound and music strategically to create more engaging and effective communication. At least that is my definition of it. And that can be expressed in a short logo, like you know from many brands, McDonald's, Intel, Coca-Cola, blah, blah, into whole audio design systems where there's several different audio assets that together combines an audio identity. Yeah. So you can have an audio identity without having an audio logo, but you can also have an audio logo without having a full audio identity. So it's about using sound and music the right way. Not more music, but the right way to really create meaningful, and I say meaningful communication because there's so much noise out there, and what is noise? So that's audio branding. And why is it important? Well, because, as I said before, there's so much noise out there. I believe that just nowadays it's become so cheap and easy to produce music, either on stock or AI or whatever, and have me knock, and it's so easy to deploy in social media, products, etc. But really, to create this effectiveness and wanting people to listen to you, you have to use sound and music in the right way, otherwise I will be pushed away. So it's very important today for every kind of brands. I don't believe so much in B2B or B2C. I believe in human to human. So if you are a brand, I believe that you're no better than how you sound. If you say you want to be innovative or modern, etc., and you sound cheap and generic, then my brain gets confused. So I hear this, but you say you are this, which one of those should I trust? And that's where I believe that we choose as much with our ears, because sound and music is the most fastest one of our senses. We can hear in 0.146 seconds, we can recognize a sound. And so it goes beyond our rational thinking, which also comes to words in our wording when we say, it doesn't sound right. What do you mean by sound? Is it the timbre, the harmonies? Well, it doesn't feel right because something is wrong with it. So that's why it's so important today for all brands on their stakeholder communication, on the commercials, social media. And today, many brands already have a real strong visual identity. So they know how to look in colors, fonts, templates, etc. But in terms of sound, it's still random. So it has been taking 40 years to come to the strength of visual identity, which we have today. All brands have a visual identity and have a logo. But still, few brands have an audio identity and struggle of, how should we sound today or tomorrow, or what music should we use here, and how is that combined with our app, and how should that be transported into the phone system? So how do you create this cohesive audio design system that really makes it a meaningful user journey?
That's also one of the ways I often describe it to my friends and people I meet who are like, what did you say you work with? Audio branding? What is that? I'm like, so there's a visual identity, a visual brand. It's the same with audio. That often triggers it for people to be like, But yeah, the relevance of it is kind of difficult also to explain to people. And that also leads on to our next question, which is, what does sound design for a company involve? Isn't it just choosing a background track? And another version of that question, which we also get often, is what does it mean to have a custom sonic identity versus just using a stock track? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as I said before, many brands has a visual identity. That's their own logo and, their own visual identity with the fonts and colors. And most of them also have some motion graphic to it.
Yeah.
That is not stock. I don't think you can find any serious company say, let's go find some stock average logo and use that, because then everybody else can use it. So how can you, in terms of sound, if you use the same music as everybody else, you cannot own it. And then you build a brand on a rented ground, which you'll never be able to own. So it's very important for brands today to own their audio landscape as well, because especially in digital world, which most of us communicate in, there's only two senses. There's hearing and seeing. Seeing is all done, visuals, logos, font and colors, yes. Brands are still struggling to own the red or the blue or the purple. Who's that, blue color agencies, both the banks and insurance companies, red ones, is that Coca-Cola or is it another brand? Who owns the red color? Is it Ferrari, is red, etc.? But what about the sound? And those brands who already done this for many years, like Coca-Cola, Intel, now also Instagram has its own audio logo, TikTok as well. So they don't just do it for fun, they do it also because of the money, but also due to the effectiveness it has, because when you need to produce so much content daily or weekly, it's very consuming and resourceful consuming about discussing what sound should we use for this campaign, what do you think about this, or should we have that sound over here? Well, they don't discuss that in terms of colors and fonts, that's why we have some templates, and that's why it's so important for them to use sound as well.
Yeah, and also actually that leads exactly into our third question, because we hear a lot of this, like, the question is, what is emotional sound branding and how does it influence our buying habits? So that's exactly what you're talking about, like the emotional thing.
Yeah, this is a big topic, and sound and music is, as I said earlier, the language of our soul. I mean, if you sing the national anthems, football games, Olympics, all starts with national anthems or the Olympic song or the Champions League song. It's all about the emotions you create. It creates this community of we are togetherness, and because music is such a strong tool for us as humans. We can hear before we are born. It's the first thing we hear, so it's the first sense that develops before we are born. And research shows that a child can recognize the voice when he comes out from his mother and father because they have heard this sound inside the womb. It's also known to be the last sense we lose when we die. So if you sit to a person who's going to die, please keep talking to them or singing to them, because you can always hear. We can never close our ears. And the brands really understand that, that sound and music is such a strong identifier for who you are. It's an extension of your personality. Are you jazzy? Are you rock and roll? Are you country western? Are you hip hop? Are you whatever? So it's a strong identifier for your personality. And the same goes as brand. And that's where we connect with people who like us. So if you and I went to the same concert with Bruno Mars or whatever, Pink, then we are, oh, you also love that concert. Yes, me too. Then we almost friends. I don't experience I've seen a fight on a concert because with them we are in the same, community. We're the fans to the same idol here. So we are on the same boat here.
Yeah.
So it's such a strong community builder, sound and music. And it's an extension of the brand's soul. And using generic sound, if I should add an angle to that, is that if you just sound generic, then who are you?
Yeah.
Then you're just random or nothing. So I think in this age of overflow with information, we are also seeking for authenticity. And authenticity can come with handcrafted music, and not AI necessarily. Not that I'm against AI, but still.
That's actually funny that you mention it.
Make music because we can, and just I want this, blah, 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 but can I feel it? Does it touch me in some way? So we're really seeking for that authenticity and really try to convert a brand into, what is you want to sound and why, and where should you use that? And back to our philosophy, when you do break the silence, it must create more meaning than the silence itself. Otherwise, you're just doing pollution or making noise. And that's what my biggest ambition here is, to really make the world sound better.
Yeah.
Product by product, brand by brand. I don't want to be the guy that, here's Karsten with noises and music in all products and brands all over the world. No, I want to really, just like now, some kind of space.
Yeah.
And have more consciousness about how we should use sound and our voices in our communication, in the product you're buying, the TV you turn on every day, or the blender you're pushing, the coffee machine, to the on-hold music you call to a company. Take responsibility of your audio landscape. We have all these, pollution policies and CO2 friendly and whatever. What about audio pollution? I mean, come on, it's also stressing people. People die from audio pollution and get stressed, So
sometimes you get into a totally new car and you get so stressed out.
But all the information sounds, or just walk into a restaurant and hear, I just want a cup of coffee and a sandwich. This is not me. And go out again. That's also why I think that we see so many people wearing anti-noise cancellations in the public spaces, in commuting, traffics.
Yeah, I do that myself all the time.
Why do we do that? And also bicycling, because there's so much beep. But I also feel that with the new e-cars, the pollution is getting better, but also less noise in the streets. But I think there's some kind of connection, this is my own philosophy, between all the stressed young people and people make, diagnosis, and due to all this inputs of screens blinking, music here, sound here in every store. Why do we need that? So just because we can have a sound in some kind of content or a store doesn't necessarily mean we have to. It has to create value in the context. Otherwise, we're just adding noise. So that's really important for me to say, even though we try to make a business of making music, well, it is the silence that is the background. So we always have that in mind.
Could you tell me a bit more about your thoughts on the artificial intelligence? Because that's actually my fourth question, because people ask us this a lot, like, do you use artificial intelligence at Sonic Minds? And we're like, no, of course we don't, because like you said before, it's supposed to be authentic and it's supposed to have soul. So what are your thoughts on what does Sonic branding look like in the age of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, it's a good question, Karen. And I've always been, interested in new trends and technologies. Me being a drummer, back in the 80s, the drum machine came out. And then they became better. We have samples, and then all drummers says, what should drummers do? Now we have drumming samples, and why should we even play drums when the sampler can play on time every beat? But it's a tool. And nowadays we see all pop music, they have in-ears where they have use the drum machines and samplers as tools to play on top of. Yeah. So I see AI as a tool for creativity, not the solution. It's just a new tool. Yeah. It has always been that in the music industry. Then came the vocalizer, then came the samplers, then came the auto-tune, then came whatever. But AI, of course, is a huge step into creativity production. It will make, in a few years, it will make films and probably make better music than I can do. But it's all trained on us, and perhaps I will revisit this question in 5 years when I hear some music where I can't hear the difference between is it AI made or human crafted. But right now, the test we see that if you ask a person who listens to an AI voice or AI music and say which one of these two you prefer, say, well, I think I like them equal or this one better. Then afterwards say, if I tell you then that this one here is made by AI, then what? Well, then I like this one better. So perhaps it will change over the years when we are more and more used to having AI speaks and AI-generated avatars and watching movies with that. But I still think that people are connected to emotions, which is based with synchronicity. I can feel you right now. I can touch you. I can smell you. But if you're a robot...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't shower.
if you're a robot, I wouldn't have that connection with you because it's all about the human connection. And actually, there was also one company who asked us, I mean, do you only do AI or do you AI music? So, well, AI is a tool. We try to craft ourselves. Oh, that's good, because we really want some soul, something made with the heart of an artist, not only by AI. So I do think that, make it short, AI is a tool, not the solution. And right now, the last thing I want to say about AI is right now you cannot trademark or own a sound made by AI. So if you're a company and you only produce AI music, then it's going to be generic because you cannot own it, you cannot trademark it, you cannot license it because it's made by AI.
Yeah.
So again, but I don't think this is the last time I get this question. And in 1 year, a new solution came out, and right now there's lawsuits. All the major labels are suing all these AI companies. Yeah. I don't know where it's going to end. I don't think anyone knows, but definitely it is a game changer, a huge game changer. But me as a musician, I would still prefer to listen to a concert with flaws and human errors playing, rather have a perfect concert with an avatar scene playing. So that's not interested, Perfect isn't interesting.
Actually, I only have one question left now, but what I just heard you talk a lot about was also a sonic consistency, because now we touched a lot of different, there's UI or UX, which is user experience to our viewers who don't necessarily know that. But there's also the sonic identity. What is for a brand or for a company, if we're looking into this, then what is sonic consistency and why is it vital?
Good question. It raised very much that companies today have a much more complex user journey. And the products are also more intelligent. Let's say, for instance, a car company or a headphone company. They both have an app. So the user journey for a car perhaps starts on the app where you see how much power is on the car. Should I reheat it before I go? Or when does it need service? All the new e-cars are like this. Or if you are an electronic manufacturing company, you set up your headset device via the app first. So for a user, you don't only have a product, the product is also connected to IoT, it's connected to the internet. So suddenly you can also communicate it with from different devices. And that means that if you have one sound in the app, a different sound in the product, and then you have different music or whatever sound design in other brand touchpoints, then I get confused. So also for companies who have several products within the same category, it could be a kitchen appliance company where you have a coffee machine, toaster, fridge. They use the same logo, the same icons for power on, power off, or different visual icons, which we know. So it's about de-stressing the brain for, you shouldn't be being in doubt of, is this power on logo, or is this power off, is this up or down? And the same with sound. So we have different products that have different UI, user interaction sounds, and then you get confused. Was this battery low, or was this power on, or was it power on, or I'm driving too fast, or I'm out of fuel, what was it? So it's really about, de-stressing people by making consistency and making it easy for users to understand the sounds. So when we're working with UI sounds, there's actually two tracks here. There's the aesthetic part. Do you want to sound soft and round and airy, or you want to be squarey and secure and strong and masculine? That's one thing. That's the aesthetics part that expresses your brand's personality, but also functionality. Do you understand this is power on or power off or up or down? And that's where we do we have a lot of experience in creating these audio design systems and audio frameworks so people can intuitively understand this means that I need power from a phone, or this means it was shut down, or this means completed transferring money. For instance, the bank sector also has been reduced to an app. In the old days, before you were born, and when you were a child, you walk into the bank and you talk to a human, said, I want to withdraw some money or deposit some money, and then here you go, and you got, now you only have this left in your account here. Today it's all an app. So you don't feel the customer support of the person. You might have a relationship to the own bank in terms of personality, but today it's just an app. So all this huge functionality and personality has to be reduced into an app. And if it looks visually diluted or sounds uncertain or sounds cheap, then it is a cheap brand or bank. Yeah. So that's very much important for products today because you interact with the bank daily via the app. You perhaps use your coffee machine daily or your car daily. So all these brands that have a product that users are using daily Suddenly the UI sounds are becoming so important because we don't watch Flow TV anymore. We don't go in actively and watch a YouTube film about this bank. Oh, this sounds good. Now I'm going to call them up. No, you are perhaps getting hit on a social media platform or some kind of commercial. So it's the whole user journey that needs to create trust. And trust comes with consistency and repetition. And that's also why they use the same logo. Brands have discovered that, same logo on the buses or the campaigns on the social media. What about the sound?
Yeah.
And if you only have two sensors, you really have to capitalize that and also create effective communication.
I think that's a great way to end our conversation today. Thank you so much for wanting to answer some of the questions we get asked a lot here at Sonic Minds.
It's been a pleasure, and I'll be happy to answer some more questions.
Let's do that next time.
Thank you.